In the news tonight, His Majesty attends in Saudi Arabia a military parade of Arab armies taking part in Rad al-Shamal military exercise. Syria's main opposition group says it will attend Geneva peace talks on Monday, while Russia says the UN peace mediator on Syria should include ethnic Kurds. And 3 terrorists are killed by the Tunisian military in an operation on the Libyan border town of Ben Girdan. Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty the King returned home following a several-hour visit to Saudi Arabia. His Majesty, along with the Saudi monarch Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and heads of Arab and Islamic states, attended in Hafr al-Batin a military parade that marked the end of the Rad al-Shamal North Thunder military drills that brought together armed forces from 20 Arab countries. The marching parade included a show of force from all the participating armies with soldiers, Humvees and tanks in tow. Accompanying the King at the military parade that was the King's advisor for military affairs and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mashal Mohammed Az-Zabin. King Abdullah also attended a luncheon banquet in honor of His Majesty and other heads of states.
تمثل جزءا من القوات البرية الملكية السعودية شعارهم وأعدوا لهم ما استطعتم من قوة ودعاؤهم اللهم هذه الاستطاعة وعليك التكلان.
أمتنا الإسلامية وتعيش الأجيال القادمة بعز وشموخ
في مضاء يرون وكالشموس منورين. البرادلي هذه هي ناقلات الجند المدرعة. البرادلي تمر من أمامكم وهي تحمل أروع الأمثلة في إرهاب العدو وبث الذعر في قواته وأفراده، ناقلة قتالية فائقة التسليح.
الجوي نظام متوسط المدى مضاد للطائرات والصواريخ، يليه نظام صواريخ البوك إحدى أنظمة قوات الدفاع الجوي متوسطة المدى، له القدرة على اكتشاف وتدمير التهديدات الجوية المعادية والتعامل مع التشويش الإلكتروني، تعامل مع الأهداف الجوية التي تطير على ارتفاعات منخفضة جدا. يستعرض أمامكم الآن
US Vice President Joe Biden left Amman at the end of a 2-day visit as part of a regional tour. Biden held talks with His Majesty the King on US-Jordanian ties and developments in the Middle East. Amman Mayor Aqil Beltaji led officials at the airport to bid farewell to the Vice President. Syria's main opposition group said it would attend peace talks on Monday, but accused the government of President Bashar al-Assad of preparing to escalate the war. The Kremlin said maintaining Syria's territorial integrity was vital for Russia and that it expected all the relevant delegations to attend Geneva peace talks. More in this report.
Syria's main opposition group said it would attend Geneva peace talks but downplayed chances of agreement. The UN brokered talks, which coincide with the 5th anniversary of the conflict, will take place in Geneva 2 weeks after the start of the ceasefire agreement. But in its statement today, it played down any chance of reaching agreement with the Syrian government.
We welcome the effort being made by the Special Envoy Stefan de Mistura. The place to achieve relief for our people is in Geneva, where we can put pressure on the regime to comply. The place to begin political transition is in Geneva, forcing the regime to abide by the will of the international community.
Russia said it expected its ally Syria to attend, although Damascus has yet to publicly confirm it will do so. UN envoy Stefan de Mistura said the latest talks are intended to focus on future political arrangements in Syria, a new constitution and elections. The opposition HNC said it wanted the talks to concentrate on the establishment of an interim governing body with full executive powers. Russia is convinced the UN peace mediator on Syria should take a decision on including the ethnic Kurds in Syria peace talks.
Now, when these Kurds are allies to both American coalition and Russian Federation in the fight against ISIS and Nusra Front, they have effectively increased their influence on the ground. They have strengthened their positions. And starting the talks without participation of this group as well as all other groups which I have mentioned seems to be a demonstration of weakness on the part of international community.
The Kurdish Democratic Union Party was not part of previous peace talks on Syria, despite Russia's efforts to expand the opposition delegation to include the powerful Kurdish faction that controls wide areas of northern Syria. Nancy Khair for the news at 10.
The Syrian army, backed by Russian airstrikes, is aiming to capture the historic city of Palmyra from Daesh to open a road to the eastern province of Deir ez-Zor. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights monitoring group said the Russian Air Force has hit Palmyra with dozens of airstrikes since Wednesday. Syrian government forces were battling Daesh some 7 kilometers from the ancient site that fell to the jihadists last May. The observatory director described it as a large-scale assault, calling it a real operation to retake control. The capture of Palmyra and further eastward advances into Daesh-held Deir ez-Zor would mark the most significant Syrian government gain since the start of the Russian intervention. The Tunisian military said it killed 3 terrorists in an operation to clear them out of a border town where more than 50 people died on Monday in an attack the government blamed on Daesh. Monday's attack on Ben Girdan, when some 50 terrorists stormed through the town, assaulting army and police posts, reinforced fears about spillover from terrorist camps in neighboring Libya. Daesh's increasing foothold in Libya is worrying its North African neighbors and Western governments. U.S. forces have launched airstrikes against the group in Libya, and Western military advisors are helping Tunisia better protect its frontier. Tens of thousands of people rallied in the Iraqi capital, calling on Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi to proceed with his plan to form a cabinet of independent professional ministers. Protesters flocked to the Tahrir Square in central Baghdad, waving Iraqi flags and calling for change. Abadi said last month that he wanted to replace his ministers with technocrats to change the system of patronage that encourages graft by distributing posts along political, ethnic and sectarian lines. Corruption is eating away at Baghdad's resources even as it struggles with falling revenue due to rock-bottom oil prices and high spending due to the cost of the war on Daesh. Israeli forces raided the offices of a Palestinian TV channel and a media production company in the West Bank city of Ramallah in the early morning hours. Israeli police said the operation was in response to calls for violence. According to a police statement, the channel, which broadcasts via the internet, was used to incite the population in the West Bank to commit acts of violence. The statement added that the station's manager, who had previously been imprisoned, was arrested. Japan prepares to mourn the thousands who lost their lives in a massive earthquake and tsunami 5 years ago. The tragedy turned towns to matchwood and triggered the world's worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl in 1986. The tsunami crippled the Fukushima nuclear plant, where meltdowns in 3 reactors spewed radiation, contaminating water, food and air. Some areas still remain no-go zones due to the high radiation. Here is more in this report.
Japan marked the 5-year anniversary on Friday of a deadly earthquake and tsunami that killed some 20,000 people. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Emperor Akito bowed in front of a stage with white and yellow flowers during a ceremony in Tokyo. Abe vowed to move forward.
In the past, our nation suffered countless disasters that could be described as national crises, but overcome them each time with determination and hope. I vow once again that we will follow hand in hand in the footsteps of our forefathers and continue to move forward.
The 9-magnitude quake struck off Japan's northeastern shore on March 11, 2011. It sparked a 33-foot wave that engulfed a large portion of coastline. The tsunami caused a meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, which spewed radiation that contaminated food, water, and the air. More than 160,000 people were forced to evacuate. Billions of dollars have been spent to help communities rebuild, but thousands of people still live in temporary housing. Here in Rikuzen Takata, a tree stands as the lone survivor of this town's once famed pine forest. Some 1,500 people were killed here, 250 were never found. Today, people gather to pray for those lost, the tree a beacon of hope for the future.
Thai elephant joined the annual polo tournament in Bangkok as the event continues into its 14th year, aiming to better the lives of the world's endangered pachyderms. 20 elephants, 10 polo teams compete in the 14th King's Cup Elephant Polo Tournament. The event is organized as a charity aiming to provide working elephants with medical attention. One of the tournament organizers said the event has managed to raise about $425,000, which will be donated to various elephant conservational projects in the country. Barcelona, on a run of 11 league wins, will be looking to extend their unbeaten streak in all competitions to 37 matches when they face Getafe at home tomorrow. Barcelona are 8 points ahead of Atletico Madrid and 12 in front of the third-placed Real Madrid with 10 matches to go. Brazil's Neymar is back from a trip to Brazil while serving a suspension last weekend to 10 out for Barcelona's match. Coach Luis Enrique said the team can only confirm their positive performance and their achievements by winning titles. Williams F1 drivers Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas are confident they can mount a serious challenge to Ferrari and Mercedes in 2016. Williams haven't repeated the glory years of the 1980s and 1990s when they won 9 Constructors' Championships and 7 world titles, but they have been on an upward curve recently. Valtteri Bottas finished 5th and Felipe Massa 6th in the standings as Williams ended the season in a comfortable 3rd place in the Constructors. And finally, the weather forecast. Relatively cold conditions for the rest of tonight and pleasant in the Jordan Valley and the Dead Sea. Tomorrow, a rise in temperature is expected with a 6 to 7 degrees above seasonal average, creating sunny and fair conditions in the hilly areas, but warmer in the other parts of the kingdom. Temperatures in the Dead Sea and the Jordan Valley will reach a high of 30 degrees. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect fair conditions with northerly moderate winds picking at times and calm seas. Next are the lows and highs for tonight and tomorrow. And to close here our top stories once again. His Majesty attends in Saudi Arabia a military parade of Arab armies taking part in Ra'ad al-Shamal military exercise. Syria's main opposition group says it will attend Geneva peace talks on Monday, while Russia says the UN peace mediator on Syria should include ethnic Kurds. And 3 terrorists are killed by the Tunisian military in an operation on the Libyan border town of Bin Girdan. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Welcome. Thank you for watching and have a good night.